everybody, welcome back to another video on my channel. I'm your host today, BlackOpsAmazing, and today I'm going to be taking a look at a theory that I've seen in the zombies community. Now, although I do YouTube, I don't really tend to watch too many videos on here. I'm going to admit, I watch EastEnders all night, I make my videos. I don't really get too much time to do anything else, but now and again, I'll see what's going on. So I was watching a couple of videos, looking through the comments, and I saw something that caught my eye. Reading through this, I actually thought this theory was quite interesting, and it's about the storyline for Black Ops 3 Zombies. Now, I'm going to read it out to you guys. Not everything in here, I will admit, I agree with. I don't think some of this would make sense, but I do think it's a good idea, and maybe this is something to build off. Just a quick reminder, if you want to drop a like rating on the video at any time, it would be much appreciated. It's up to you guys, but anyway, here we go. So this is a little theory that the Saints Live has come up with. Like I said, I don't agree with everything, but it's definitely interesting, and something maybe you guys can improvise on. So anyway, MAXIS has been lying to Richtofen, which we recently found out in Zetsuba no Shima. We know MAXIS has withheld certain truths from him. He says MAXIS has promised peace or something to Richtofen if he fills up the summoning key. I mean, that would only make sense. I don't believe that Richtofen would be doing this without any good reason, without him getting something from this. Remember, Richtofen has always been this selfish character. It's always been about himself, and although we are playing as the Origins version, I don't believe at all that Richtofen is all good. There is still some evil within him, and that also for me comes along with his selfishness. So there's got to be some reason as to why Richtofen gave up what he had before and is doing all of this for MAXIS. He says he is doing it for good, for a better universe, to save the children, but I think there is something Richtofen wants out of this as well. Anyway, carrying on. So MAXIS has promised something to Richtofen if he fills up the summoning key. Now, it's called the summoning key for a reason, obviously. One of its powers is to summon things. Right now, we are collecting the souls inside of the summoning key. So later on down the line, maybe in DLC 4, we can only guess, and it only seems right that we will be able to summon the souls of these original characters. But he says in DLC 4, we will summon the Cthulhu monster. MAXIS' current state, which we don't actually know where he is right now. All we know is he can talk to us through the rift. He could be in EACHOTHER, in a void between universes, but he says because of Dr. MAXIS' current state, he could have made a deal with Cthulhu. We know right now the Cthulhu mythos is playing a massive part in our zombie storyline, and the main character, our main dude Cthulhu, has yet to really play a part. So could we be seeing him in DLC 4? He carries on by saying MAXIS lied to Richtofen, which we know, because in DLC 4 we will fight the Cthulhu monster and end all evil. In Zetsuba no Shima, they travel to Mob of the Dead to get the rest of the blood vials. Now, this is the thing that I'm not too sure about. Personally, I don't believe they travel to Mob of the Dead, but he continues by saying, remember, Mob of the Dead is a cycle. Richtofen now has the cursed blood, and it means they can cycle and retest when they fail, like in Zetsuba no Shima on the PC or Xbox trailer that we saw. And he's right, on the Xbox trailer, we saw that our characters, Richtofen, Nikolai, and Dempsey, Takeo had killed them. We saw that happen in Zetsuba no Shima, but when we play the game in real life, when we actually get to play it ourselves, the characters are still alive. And I do believe this is something that's happened in a different universe. This is an event that's taken place before, and because they are stuck in this loop, until the correct version of Takeo was killed, the loop continued, and they just reset and got sent back to the beginning of that map over and over again. So he says, remember, Mob of the Dead is a cycle. Richtofen now has the cursed blood from our Mob of the Dead characters, and it means they can retry and cycle again when they feel like they did in Zetsuba no Shima first. He says Richtofen is slowly realising that MAXIS is a liar and that they will need more chances if anything happens to them in the ultimate place. We will release Cthulhu with the summoning key. He then goes on to say the children are a lie. That part I don't believe, but what I do agree with is that MAXIS is evil and wants revenge. He says you need to commit a sin to enter the cycle of Mob of the Dead, plus the Keepers are part of the Vril society, which is also acknowledged in Shangri-La. So that, although I don't believe with everything, I think is very interesting, and I think this guy could be onto something. I mean, you can let me know your alternate view on this in the comments section below if you want to, but no, let me just go through this in my way and try to put it in a simpler terms for you guys, and just miss out the parts that I don't think are accurate or would really make sense to the storyline. So MAXIS and Richtofen have come up with this plan together, and we know this is carrying on from a different universe where Richtofen blew up the moon and MAXIS destroyed the Earth. Remember, MAXIS, like I just told you, destroyed the Earth in Moon. MAXIS may seem like the good guy, but there is a lot of evil to him. At the end of Buried, MAXIS took control of the zombies. He put Edward's soul, if you will, inside of a zombie, and he essentially destroyed the fate of humanity down on Earth, and he did all of this just to get his daughter back. So in a way, Maxis is a selfish person. There is this evil side to him, so we've got to remember that as well. It's not just Richthofen, although, as I said earlier, Richthofen is making out to be this good guy, when deep down I still think there's some evil in him as well. So both of these characters, Richthofen and Maxis, as we know, are hiding something from each other. It was revealed not long ago that this big secret that Maxis is keeping from Richthofen, Richthofen already knows this, and he's keeping this as a big secret from Maxis. So both of them, in a way, although they are working together, have also betrayed each other. Now, I don't believe at all that Maxis would just suddenly forget everything that Edward did to him when we played as the original crew. When we played as the 01 crew, we know Edward teleported Maxis and Samantha away. Edward experimented on Samantha in Doris. Samantha hated Richthofen, or vice versa. So I don't believe at all that Maxis has just forgiven Richthofen. They seem to be, the best of friends. In our recent storyline is that Zuba no Shima and Asa Draka, they are working together, but I think this could all be a front by Maxis. I don't believe at all there is no way he has forgiven Richthofen, but he's at least got to try to pretend to, so he can complete and get whatever he wants to get done for DLC 4. That's the reason why he needs these souls inside of the summoning key. We don't yet know, but this guy gives a good explanation. This in the end could possibly end with us summoning Cthulhu. We find out from Shadows of Evil that one of the abilities of the summoning key is to open up a gateway from Argotha, or to open up a gateway or a portal to allow all of the other apothecans, the evil, to enter and inhabit Earth for themselves. We don't know why Maxis wants the summoning key, but Richthofen is collecting the souls of our 4 characters and is going to give it to Maxis. As this guy says, maybe Maxis tricks us in DLC 4 into spawning in Cthulhu, or maybe he does this himself when he gets his hands on it. I definitely believe he wants to get revenge on Richthofen eventually, but does he need to spawn in or allow Cthulhu to enter Earth? But I definitely think he is going to use the summoning key against Richthofen in DLC 4, and Richthofen already knows of this, or he knows of this big secret that Maxis is keeping from him, hence why he has collected the blood vials. Now we know Richthofen's 2 blood vials are from our Mob of the Dead characters, and I believe Mob of the Dead is very similar to Shadows of Evil and how it works. We have our 4 inmates, or our 4 characters who are the cursed, who got sent to Morgue City. We then have our Afterlife mode in Mob of the Dead, and we have our Beast mode in Shadows of Evil. We have the Shadow Man, and then we have Brutus in Mob of the Dead. We don't know who's controlling the zombies in Mob of the Dead. And we also don't know who's controlling the zombies in our Black Ops 3 zombie storyline. And in fact, Richthofen doesn't even know himself, so that's a mystery on the side. So I think these 2 maps, Shadows of Evil and Mob of the Dead, are very similar in loads of ways. And as we know, only the cursed got sent to Morgue City, and our 4 inmates, these characters that committed these evil crimes, got sent to Alcatraz. So in order to get into Alcatraz, you have to do evil. Now it's clear that Richthofen's been to Mob of the Dead before. That would have been the only way for him to obtain these blood vials. So somehow, before Origins, Richthofen travelled to Mob of the Dead. But to get there, like I said, you have to do something bad. But I thought before, wasn't the Origins version of Richthofen good? He only turned bad later on down the line. If he got these blood vials before Origins, wouldn't he have been this good character? We find out in the Richthofen's memory segment that Richthofen has cheated, he's lied, he's deceived, he's done very bad things. So I believe Richthofen's done something very bad, and in fact something terrible, to get himself sent to Alcatraz. Before Origins, Richthofen never learned how to teleport. He only learned how to use the rift and how to teleport without the aid of the teleporters after he learnt this information from the Chronorium, but that all took place after Origins. Remember, he got these blood vials before Origins. At that time, he knew nothing about teleportation. So the big question is, how exactly did he get to Mob of the Dead in the first place? And the answer could have been, he committed these very bad things. He did these evil things that he talks about in this Richthofen's memory segment trailer. He got sent there just like Finn, Sal, the Weasel, and Ray, our 4 inmates. Richthofen, before we played Mob of the Dead, maybe was at Alcatraz at the same time as them. The Weasel says Nikolai. Where have I heard that name before? So someone who knows Nikolai has spoken to the Weasel before we play, or somehow he's found out about Nikolai. He's heard this name from somewhere, and I think this could have been from Richthofen when he went to Mob of the Dead before Origins. These very bad things he talks about within the trailer, he must have done before we play Origins. We all along thought in Origins he was a good guy, but really deep down he had done something very bad. What that is, we don't know. However, he got sent to Mob of the Dead, he collected these blood vials, he somehow escaped that cycle. Now we know when you are in Alcatraz, you are stuck in a cycle. Our 4 inmates are trying to escape. So that must also mean Richthofen was in this cycle too, but somehow he managed to break it. He managed to break the loop and escape and get back with the vials, which he now has and is going to use to protect himself against MAXIS' secret in DLC 4. We know all of the other Richtofens are dead in each and every universe, so if this Richtofen that we are playing as right now dies, then the whole origins of him dies and we will never see him again. These blood vials could maybe be used to resurrect him. Maybe they make him kind of like invincible if he injects himself with this at the right time. We don't exactly know what he's going to use them for yet, but all 4 of our characters now have this blood to protect themselves, or at least that's what we know Richtofens can do. We know in DLC 4 we are going to this ultimate place. We are having this great battle which could involve us fighting against the Apothicons, spawning in Cthulhu or somehow allowing him to enter Earth, open up a gateway using the summoning key by MAXIS, which could be him betraying us because he's never really forgotten what Richtofen did to him. I mean, after he gets his daughter back, MAXIS, I believe, deep down doesn't care about anyone else, but it's too late. Richthofen already knows what he's going to do. He knows of his big secrets, and so he's going to make sure whatever MAXIS is going to do to him in DLC 4 isn't gonna happen. It's going to be very interesting in DLC 3 and DLC 4. I cannot wait. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. A like rating would mean an awful lot to me. It really does only take 2 seconds to click it. If you could please do that right now, it does help to share the video around as well, because I do think this is an awesome theory. So thank you guys so much for liking the video. Hit that subscribe button for more on my channel. I will see you all in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.